Anthony Joshua has never been a man who hides behind brute strength alone. Even in the moments where his knockout power steals headlines, the former heavyweight champion insists that greatness comes from something deeper. He speaks of spirit, discipline, and the will to break an opponent's confidence long before breaking his body. And that is the mindset he carries into this unexpected and electrifying storm surrounding the possibility of facing Jake Paul. To Joshua, it is not just about punching harder. It is about walking into the ring with a presence that crushes hope. Yet hovering over that confidence is another truth repeatedly echoed by fighters, trainers, and analysts across the boxing world. Jake Paul is stepping into a realm he is not equipped for. Against a man as big, strong, and effortlessly powerful as Joshua, even a punch thrown at half speed carries the force most fighters only manage at full exertion. That alone has fueled widespread concern for what awaits Paul if this fight truly materializes. Joshua himself made it clear at the press conference that Paul is delusional if he believes he can win. He dismissed the hype, brushed off the theatrics, and reduced the fight to something brutally simple, a business opportunity. He said openly that the only reason he entertains this matchup is the financial reward. Beyond that, inside the ring, he sees himself as the far superior fighter, a man with levels of experience, strength, and technical command that Paul has never faced. While fans debated Paul's $50 million knockout promise, Joshua laughed at the idea that he would ever walk away from that kind of money. He has always viewed boxing through a business lens as much as a competitive one. If $50 million really sat on the table, he would take it without hesitation, not out of fear or desperation, but because that is how an elite prizefighter maximizes the value of his career. Analysts like Chris Algieri recognize exactly why this fight makes sense for Joshua beyond the paycheck. Coming off inactivity and still recovering mentally from past setbacks, Joshua needs a low-risk, high-reward opportunity to rebuild his rhythm. This is the perfect stepping stone, a fight that feels more like a controlled sparring session while still delivering a massive financial windfall. It allows him to sharpen timing, regain confidence, and step back into the spotlight without the danger of a seasoned heavyweight threatening his momentum. Even as some fans question why an exhibition-like matchup matters, Algieri emphasizes that for a fighter rebuilding mentally, the process matters. Wrapping the hands, hearing the crowd, walking through the tunnel, touching the gloves, these rituals reset a fighter's psychology. And that is what Joshua needs before taking on the biggest challenges of his division. But others argue that there is no such thing as a harmless fight with Joshua. If the fight is sanctioned with 10-ounce gloves and a 10-round setup, then it does not matter what promoters label it. It is a real fight. It carries the weight and risk of any heavyweight battle. And analysts like Paulie Malignaggi and Ryan Garcia repeatedly stress that Joshua never steps into the ring lightly. Exhibition or not, Joshua fights with seriousness, discipline, timing, and precision. Even if he tries to take it easy, his natural power cannot be dialed down. One clean punch can alter careers. One well-timed shot can shatter illusions. This is the reality Jake Paul faces if he stands across from a man who toppled giants, unified world titles, and knocked out one of the hardest hitters in combat sports history. As discussions unfold, promoter Eddie Hearn remains cautiously optimistic. While he acknowledges the financial potential and the global attention the fight would bring, he warns that Jake Paul is unpredictable. He has built a reputation for pulling out of agreements at the last moment, reshuffling opponents, and shifting strategies overnight. Joshua's camp cannot afford chaos. They need stability to prepare properly. Still, Hearn admits that if Paul truly commits, this could become one of Joshua's highest-paying fights ever. Yet the uncertainty remains. Tomorrow could bring a different announcement, a different opponent, a different plan. Joshua understands the business side, but he refuses to let his career be derailed by theatrics. The wider boxing world is sharply divided. Some critics argue that this matchup damages Joshua's legacy if not handled correctly. They believe exhibitions are for retired fighters, not a man still in his athletic prime. They insist that Joshua should pursue Tyson Fury immediately rather than pause for a circus fight. They fear that the delay will cost him rhythm, momentum, and relevance. Others argue the exact opposite, claiming the fight is harmless as long as it fits within Joshua's roadmap toward a heavyweight title shot. They emphasize the mental recovery he needs after the turbulent Daniel Dubois fight. They highlight the importance of shaking off emotional damage before stepping back into elite competition. To them, the fight with Paul is merely a warm-up, a chance to reset the warrior's mindset. Yet the concerns about Jake Paul's safety persist. Analysts point out that while he has faced former MMA legends and older boxers past their prime, stepping into the ring with an active heavyweight champion is an entirely different universe. Joshua is 6'6", heavily muscled, and capable of knocking out elite fighters with a single punch. Fans still remember what he did to Francis Ngannou, a man with a chin forged through years of absorbing heavy shots in 4-ounce gloves. Ngannou had survived brutal wars in the UFC, yet Joshua rendered him unconscious with frightening ease. If that kind of power connects with Paul, the consequences could be severe. From a competitive standpoint, the fight offers intrigue. Jake Paul has grown significantly as a boxer. His conditioning has improved, his technique is cleaner, and his confidence has not wavered. But even with that progress, he remains leagues away from facing a man with Joshua's pedigree. Joshua was an Olympic gold medalist. He unified the heavyweight division. He stood toe-to-toe with fighters like Vladimir Klitschko and Andy Ruiz. His reach, speed, and timing are on levels that cannot be replicated in sparring. Analysts emphasize that Paul must show strategic brilliance, mental discipline, and unwavering resilience to survive. The risk for Paul is existential. If he loses badly, the entire influencer boxing experiment collapses. Fans have long wondered what would happen if he faced a real heavyweight in his prime. If that question is answered violently, there is no mystery left to sell. Once the illusion breaks, the market shifts. This is why the stakes are far greater than entertainment value. This fight carries the weight of a career, perhaps even a movement. Despite all the criticism, excitement surrounds the matchup. It has captured global attention, dominating boxing discussions and stirring anticipation across social media. Victor Oladipo calls it one of the biggest fights imaginable for Jake Paul, larger in impact than his bout with Mike Tyson. The numbers will be enormous. Interest will be intense. Curiosity alone will drive millions to tune in. People want to see whether Jake Paul can survive. People want to see whether Joshua will dismantle him. And people want to witness the spectacle of a YouTube superstar stepping into the domain of a heavyweight king. Even critics who dislike influencer boxing admit one thing: if Paul steps into the ring with Joshua, his courage is undeniable. Anyone walking toward a man like Joshua must carry their confidence in a wheelbarrow. What remains now is timing, commitment, and clarity. The date, the rules, the venue, everything is still in the air. But the idea alone has sent shockwaves across the sport. Before you leave, share your thoughts. Do you think Jake Paul is making the biggest mistake of his career? Is Anthony Joshua risking his legacy, or simply making a smart business move? And who do you believe truly benefits the most if this fight becomes reality? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unfolding drama of modern boxing, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another powerful story. Your support keeps this journey alive.